Hilton Head Concours d'Elegance and Motoring Festival is bringing together a really special class this year. We're celebrating 70 years of the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL sports car, and we're doing that by bringing you some of the first cars ever made. They're also some of the first cars of the USA. The reason why all this history is tied so well together is because we were really kind of the catalyst and the customer for the car. And so, as much as it's a very German story, it always gets told with kind of an American accent. And great proof of that is just right here where we are now. It's the Mercedes-Benz Classic Center, and there's only two of them in the world. One's in Stuttgart, and one is right here in Long Beach, California. And as you look around the shop, you can see this is the epicenter of Mercedes-Benz passion. And we're also going to go over to director Mike Kunz, who shows us why the 300 SL is at the heart of it all.
So one of the requirements of working here is that you're passionate about cars, and it's hard not to be passionate about a 300 SL. It is perhaps our most iconic car. We make a point of respecting that. Sometimes people modify these cars and we put them back to the original. We very much think they're akin to art, and they deserve to be put back to the way they were built, originally new. In 1950s, early 1950s, you had a car that could go 160 miles an hour that was far and above any other contemporary car at that time, and really could do it easily. If you think about it, it's a car that is extremely popular. We often hear from organizers of driving events that we sponsor that too many people want to bring a 300 SL. Well, it's for good reason. It's well built. It's a car you can drive all day in a rally and comfortably. You don't get beaten up by the car, and the car is dead reliable. When I was given the project to head up the Classic Center in the United States, we actually had a Gullwing in our fleet in New Jersey, and I had the opportunity to drive the car for the first time. And you know, I have to admit, I was very intimidated by this very valuable car that I thought it would be very difficult to drive, would be hard to maneuver, generally not a great modern driving experience, and I was pleasantly surprised. The car drove extremely well. It was a car that you could drive extremely calmly, very calmly, or it was a car that you could get quite aggressive with. Really represents the DNA of the SLs to follow that too. They were good cars that can do a little bit of everything. So here at the Classic Center, we see a lot of 300 SLs. It's our core business. Sometimes we get the unusual car here, and everyone might think that a 300 SL is universally a silver car, and clearly a lot of them were painted silver. It was the classic Mercedes-Benz racing color at the time. But it was the 1950s, and you can imagine that there were quite a few cars that had unusual colors. The blue car is an example to the left of me, and we recently got a car in. It was a very early roadster within the first 15 cars made, and that car was a dark green metallic with a yellow leather interior, and we're trying to convince our customer it should be restored back to that, but he wants a silver 300 SL. So you know, it's really reflective of the time when the car was made. We also advise customers that, you know, use the car. We restore a lot of cars, fully restore them. Typically those cars go on a show circuit for a while, but then we advise, you know, use the car and enjoy the car. The car really is meant to be enjoyed. It's half the experience. The first half, of course, is the design, looking at it and admiring it, but driving the car is phenomenal. It's extremely capable, so it's meant to be used. And we always say, look, you can use it if something breaks, if something gets damaged, something gets worn, we can fix it. That really is the beauty of this car, in that it's so well supported. Unlike some cars that you may restore and spend way too much money on and never have the hope of recouping that money, the 300 SL is an incredible investment. Even if you find a rundown car, you're going to pay just under $1 million for that car. It takes about $1 million to restore the car fully, but if you do the math and you say 1 million plus 1 million, these are cars that are worth $2 million fully restored, if not more. There are some exceptions to this. exceptions, the extreme exceptions are the alloy cars. So 29 of the 300 SL coupes or gullwings were made of all aluminum, and these are cars that are anywhere from $7 to $11 million fully restored. But it's a car that makes sense. You know, you hear many times stories about people restoring a car and being underwater. It's hard to be underwater with the 300 SL. You're always above water. So this is a car that's 70 years old, and it is a restorable car. So even if you bring us the most terrible 300 SL in the world, we're excited about that because we have the means to restore those cars and bring them back to their original condition. And that's important, really, as an iconic car for the brand, that they continue to be used, enjoyed, don't become museum pieces only, parked in a corner somewhere, and they're enjoyed to their fullest.